Hello everyone, my name is Professor J.B. Jala, Assistant Professor in Electrical Engineering Department of Dr. Subhash Technical Campus, Junagadh. In this video lecture, we learn about decision making and decision making process for the subject of engineering economics. From this video lecture, we can learn about difference between simple and complex problems and learn about role and purpose of engineering economic analysis. We also describe 9 steps in economic decision making process and also with an example. We also learn an appropriate economic criteria for the use with different type of problems. Also, common ethical issues in engineering economic decision making and engineering economic decision making process. So let's start. Engineering economics. What is engineering economics and why it is required to learn about it? So here is the definition of engineering economics. Engineering economics involves formulating, estimating and evaluating the expected outcomes of alternatives designed to accomplish a defined purpose. What it says, engineering economics is a process of formulating, estimating and evaluating. For what? It's for expected outcome of alternatives. For why? To accomplish a defined purpose. It is the definition of engineering economics. In this, the 3 things are most important: formulating, estimating and evaluating for expected outcomes. Mathematical techniques are used to simplify economic evaluation of alternatives, and these techniques are equally good for individual business and government project. This course also offers you an economic analysis tool for making decisions such as car purchase, house purchase and major purchases on credit card or etc. From this process, we learn about how we give a good decision for making an appropriate and proper work. Now next, decision making. Decision making is a broad topic in which we make many decisions like buying a car, buying a house, buying an industry, or any other buying like an purchase of materials for our industry, purchase and textiles, purchase and industrial equipments and machines. So it's a broad topic. It's a major aspect for every human existence. We are surrounding of sea of problems, which may be classified difficulty levels. The difficulty level in all the problems are different, so we can classify depends on difficulty level. First one is simple problem, second one is intermediate problem and third one is complex problem. Now one by one we learn about all it. First one is simple problems. Which type of problem is known as simple problem and how it is easy? The simple problem does not require time or effort. It is known as simple problem. It is most important, does not require time or effort. Now let's check an example of it. First one is I pay in cash or use my debit card or credit card. It is a simple problem. If we purchase something like groceries or medical equipments or medical or textiles, then there are 2 options: either we pay it by cash or buy debit card or credit card. So it's a simple problem in which output is simply yes or no, or either one or either two. So it's a simple problem. Now second one is, do I buy a semester parking pass or use an parking meters? It's a second example. Same example is given as if we came from outside of town from our college, so we can use an pass or use an ticket to buy every day. Third one is, shall we replace a burned out motor? There is an motor which is burned out, then we can replace it by new one or either repair it. Fourth one is, if we use an 3 carts of item a week, how many carts should we buy at a time? Same as if we want to buy any food items, then we have a choice that we can buy it for monthly, weekly or daily. It's a simple type of problems. So it is known as first one. Now we learn about second one problem is intermediate problem. Which type of problem is known as intermediate problem? So here is an definition. This primarily presents an economic problem. It is known as intermediate problem. By example we learn it. First example is, should I buy car or list my next car? It's simply, if we use an car and it is outdated, so there is an two option. Can we buy a new car or we use the old one? So here economy or money is involved, so it is known as intermediate problem. Now second one, which equipment should be selected for new assembly line? If we have an industry and there is an assembly line, then we have a choice for the equipment selection. Then we have buy a cheapest one, intermediate or highly costly equipments for it. Based on the equipment results, we can select it. So here the money is involved, so it is known as intermediate problem. Third one is, which materials should be used for new building? It is also involved in economic problem. Fourth one is, what size of air conditioner should be economical? Here money is also involved, so it is known as intermediate problem, and so on. Now third one is complex problems. Complex problem. Which problems are known as complex? Here is the definition. These problems are mixture of economic, political and humanistic elements. The three things are important. First one is economic, second one is political, and third one is humanistic elements. It is known as complex problem. By some example we learned it. The decision of XYZ person to build an automobile assembly plant in any country illustrate a complex problem. If we buy an industry, then what we source? First we source and in which company we want to make it. Second one is, what is the political crisis or political stability in this country? And third one is, how much cost it is required to build a new company. So these three things, economic, political and humanistic elements, are also involved in this example. So it is known as complex problem. Second one is allocation of annual budget of corporation or government ministry. It is also includes an economic and political with an result of humanistic elements. So it is known as complex problem. Now here we show engineering economic analysis. is most suitable for intermediate and economic aspect for complex problems. It says that the problems mostly are complex problems and are suitable for intermediate and economic aspect are more. Now, in this decision making process, what is the role of engineering economics? Decisions are made routinely to choose alternative over another by individuals' everyday life. There is many choices in our routine day life that we choose either one or either two, and there is many choices from which we select any one, so it is an decision. By engineering on job, by managers who supervise an activity, by corporate president who operates a business, by government officials who work for public good, and so on, are so many examples which gives an role of engineer in economics. So it's known as engineering economics. In this most of decisions, it involves an money, which is known as also capital or capital fund, also known as capital cost, which is usually limited. Like if we want to buy a new company, there is an required and capital cost to buy that. If we require to buy any machine for our industrial process, then it also requires an capital money, which is limited. Now, therefore, in order to make a decision where and how to invest capital, where and how to invest a capital with goal of adding value. Goal of adding value means that we gives and more benefit in future. Several alternatives are analyzed to anticipate the output of the project. It means says that decision making process invest and capital in the form of in which we gives an maximum benefit in the future by selecting an proper alternative among so many options. Now, in engineering economic process, what engineers do? Engineers play an vital role in capital investment decision based on their ability and experience to design, analyze and synthesize. It is the role of engineer. Now, decisions are based on two factors. First one is economic and second one is non-economic. Economics in which money is involved and non-economics in which money is not involved. So, what is engineering economics? Engineering economics deals with economic factor. It means we stand here in economics, and in non-economics the role of engineers are very less. Now, engineering economic analysis. What is engineering economic analysis? Engineering economic analysis is suitable for intermediate and complex problem, which has following three qualities. What is three qualities? The first one is the problem is important enough to justify our giving it serious thought or effort, in which serious thoughts are involved. It is known as problem is important enough. Second one is problem cannot be worked in one head. It means that is a careful analysis required, that we organize the problem and all the various consequences, and this is just too much to done all at one. It is second type, the problem cannot be worked in one head. Third one is the problem has economic aspect. It is most important in reaching a decision. It is type of 3. Now we learn some examples of engineering economic analysis. In engineering economic analysis, it focuses on cost, revenue, and benefits that occurs at different times. We learn it by example. The first example is when civil engineer designs a road, dam, or building, the construction cost occur in nearest future. It means that we need to invest and money to design a road, dam, or building at the time of construction of it, while the benefits that used to being only when construction is finished and then continue for long time. It means that when the construction is completed, then we get and benefits after the construction, and then for long time we can get its benefit. Engineering economic analysis is used to answer many difficult questions like which engineering projects are worthwhile. Second, which engineering projects should have high priority. It means that for development of any country, any state, or any area, we need to build an primary investment for basic infrastructure like in buildings, roads, ports, and transportation facilities. Means it says that we need to find highly priority projects. Another is how should engineering projects to be designed. Which type of design is used in engineering projects. It also answers the questions that are personally important. Personal importance means how to achieve long-term finance benefits. For any work, we shows this that how much benefit we get from that project. Another is how to compare difficult ways to finance purchases. It's mainly focused on different ways to purchase of finance material. Engineering economic analysis is also used for future. It means that we can estimate and future benefits. So it also says that engineering economic analysis is primarily about future and what is expected to occur. Now, engineering estimation and decisions usually involves four elements. The first one is cash flow. Cash flow means from where money is came, where we need to invest it, and how much benefit we get in how much time. Second is time of occurrence. It means that if we buy an industry, then we get and benefits from after the just buying it. But if we construct a new building of factory, then we get and benefit after the construction of that building. Third one is interest rate for time value of money. It means that how much interest we get in nearest future and after the long future. Fourth one is measure of economic worth for selecting an alternatives. If we have an money, then we have a choice to invest in either the project 1, project 2. It is known as selective alternatives. Since various in the future are known due to changing circumstances, what it says, if we have an industry in Japan or Thailand, then we also shows that the tsunami and other changing circumstances and unplanned events are occurs there. So it is known as sensitive analysis, is also utilized in decision making. So it's an most useful. We also shows an environmental problems and other political issues which we use an in decision making process. Here we shows an example of engineering economic. In this, an engineer is performing an analysis of warranty cost for drivetrain repairs within 5 years of ownership of luxury car purchased in USA. He found that the average cost is $570 per repair from the data taken of 5 years period. So here the data is given for 5 years to 2006, 7, 8, 9 and 10, and also gives an cost per repair. Here we shows an graph of it. In this graph we shows that the first year we have and spent and $525 in first repair. From second we spent and $430, so it is the lower. After that we shows it here and also shows an graph. The average of it is 570 rupees. Now from this data what we learn, here we shows that for 5 years the average cost of repair is $570. It means here range is minimum is $430, maximum is $650, and it's an in terms of percentage is minus 25% to plus 15% of average value 570, means it's an plus 15%, it's an 25% in negative. So from this data we learn that in last 3 years is different than first 2 years of ownership. We calculate here for last 3 years. For last 3 years the average cost per repair is $630. It means it's an high than for 5 years data. Now the range is minimum and maximum. Here we shows an maximum and minimum range. It is an $619 and $615. This range gives in percentage of minus 5% to plus 5% of average value 630. So from this data we learn that data should be more inclusive of historical data, thus a range of minus 15 to minus 25 of 570 is recommended. It means says that we have and more data in 5 years. So from that data we make a decision regarding the future cost or repair cost of car. So it's an end of this video. Thank you.